Alright, welcome back, it's Kenem. Today's video, we're doing a presentation on a usability testing report for the William Hill project. But the platform that we're doing presentation on is for the previous platform that they use, ServiceNow. So let's begin. The body call logging experience is difficult to discover. It uses unclear systems-led terminology and provides little confirmation or feedback, forcing staff to rely on memory and prior experience rather than clear navigation and guidance. Our research methodology was a usability test for which we seek to observe and gain qualitative and quantitative feedback from a mix of moderated and remote unmoderated testing. Our chosen platform was UX Tweak. Our key task, which is the one main task, was to log a body call and or toilet check. The goal was to identify any usability issues from when users attempt to complete the form. So here's what we learned. So for task one, on this slide, I want to focus less on whether participants were technically complete the task and more how confident they felt after doing so. While the overall task success rate was relatively high, confidence scores and systems ratings tell a different story. What we see here is a consistent pattern where users were able to complete the task, but often without strong confidence that it had been logged correctly. This gap between task completion and user confidence is important as it suggests that the system relies heavily on user familiarity rather than clear guidance, feedback and or reassurance. Several participants explicitly mention that the system submits but nothing tells you that it worked, which helps explain the confidence scores remaining moderate even when tasks were completed successfully. When we compare confidence scores with overall systems ratings, we also see that familiarity doesn't translate into positive perception. Experienced users rated the system low despite being able to use it. From a service design perspective, this creates risk here, and the risk is uncertainty, increasing the cognitive load that slows down other tasks and undermines trust in compliance data. So the key takeaway here is it's not that the system fails outright, but it creates a sense of doubt, especially in a busy shop environment, which impacts efficiency, confidence, and consistency. Breaking it down, so some insights that we can gather here for a poor discoverability of the form. Users cannot reliably locate the body call form without cognitive strain, often relying on memory or prior experience rather than clear navigational cues. What we observed is across the study, participants often hesitated or took indirect paths when attempting to locate where to log a body call or toilet check. Several participants stated that the page was hard to find or took a while to get to, and one participant failed to complete the task due to navigational difficulty. Some supporting statements here is, again, the 85% task success and the average time on task being 58 seconds. So some suggestions and recommendations are to promote the body call toilet checks from the home page or the dashboard. Again, introduce visible, persistent entry points for the body call and toilet checks, and also group mandatory daily tasks into a single, clearly labeled hub. Why this matters: for mandatory high-frequency compliance tasks, difficulty locating the entry point increases cognitive load and raises risk for missed or delayed checks during busy periods. The related usability heuristic is recognition rather than recall, and a match between systems and the real world, as users were required to remember where task lives instead of recognizing it immediately. Insight number 2 is a systems language mismatch. Terms lack meaning for frontline workers. What we observed was participants struggled with terminology that didn't reflect shop language, including language labels such as dashboard, LBO, update, and these hour-based markers. Newer staff were particularly affected, while experienced staff relied on habit rather than understanding. And the supporting statement here is the average confidence rating of 3.4 out of 5. This was after submission. Some recommendations are to replace the system-coded language with natural shop vocabulary, rename ambiguous actions such as update, blog, body update into more user-friendly labels. Also introducing microcopy clarifications where terms cannot be simplified. Some things from a systems level you need to keep. Why this matters is terminology requires interpretation, which staff must pause to decode meaning, slowing task completion and increasing the risk of errors under pressure. The related usability heuristic here is matching between system and the real world, where the system language mirrors internal logic rather than frontline mental models. Insight 3. Users lacked clear confirmation that a task was logged. So here, users cannot confidently tell whether a body call has been logged successfully after submission. What we observed was, after submitting, participants often expressed uncertainty around whether the task had been logged successfully, and have also reported incidents where they have logged something but it hasn't actually saved. So as you hear, the quote here is submits but doesn't tell you it's worked, so there's no information. The supporting statement here is again the average confidence rating, and the recommendation here is to add a clear toast or success confirmation on submission. Display timestamps and make a visible activity or submission log. Why this matters is uncertainty undermines trust in the system and forces staff to second guess themselves, increases the cognitive load and the risk of duplicate or missed entries. And the related usability heuristic here is visibility of system status, as the system fails to clearly communicate the outcomes of user actions. Insight 4 is layout and micro interactions design slowed users down. Hard to tap fields, unclear spacing, and poor visual hierarchy make the form difficult to scan and interpret quickly. What we observed was participants reported difficulty tapping fields, unclear group information, and the layout feels cluttered and unintuitively, especially on the device that we currently use is a Shop tablet, and I do think it is a Samsung Galaxy Tab. Again, the supporting statement here is the average system rating of 2.6 out of 5. So some recommendations here are to rebuild the form for a touch-first use, meaning mobile-first. Is to also group related fields clearly and logically, improving the spacing, contrast, and visual hierarchy of content. Why this matters, again, is poor layout and micro interactions compound on the time pressure, increasing effort and frustration for a task that should be near instant. And the related usability heuristic here is aesthetic and minimalist. There's also design and efficiency of use, where visual structure and interaction affordances should reduce effort, not add to it. And that was my presentation. Thank you for watching. I will see you again. Peace.